The day my daughter tried to drain my pension account, she had no idea the bank wasn't going to let a single dollar through, because 3 months earlier I'd sat in that same bank and filed a report that would change everything between us. I watched her face turn white when they told her the account was frozen, and I felt nothing. My name is Patricia Morgan. I'm 72 years old, and I need to tell you what happens when the child you raise decides your money is more important than your dignity. So before I start, tell me in the comments, where are you watching this from? Because what happened to me could happen to anyone, anywhere. It started on a Tuesday morning last April. My daughter Jennifer showed up at my house in Riverside, California, earlier than usual. She'd been coming by twice a week since her father passed 2 years ago, which I'd appreciated at first. Grief makes you grateful for company. "Mom, I need to talk to you about something," she said, setting her purse down on my kitchen counter. She was 46, dressed in a real estate agent blazer, but her eyes had that look, the one I'd seen when she was 16 and had crashed my car. I poured us both coffee. "What's wrong, sweetheart?" "It's the market. Everything's so expensive right now, and with Jake's tuition coming up." She trailed off, stirring cream into her cup with more focus than necessary. Jake was my grandson, 17, planning for college. "How much do you need?" I asked. "Because that's what mothers do. We solve problems." "I don't want to borrow, Mom. That feels wrong." She reached across the table and took my hand. "But I was thinking, what if I just helped manage some of your expenses? You know, make sure your bills get paid on time, handle the grocery shopping, that kind of thing. It would take pressure off you." I should have seen it then. That slight hesitation before manage. The way her thumb rubbed circles on my wrist, like she was calming a nervous animal. "I manage fine," I said carefully. "I know you do, but Dad always handled the finances, and I just worry. What if something happens and you forget a payment? Your credit could tank." She squeezed my hand. "Just give me your bank card. I'll only use it for your stuff. Groceries, utilities, medications. You won't have to think about any of it." The thing about being a mother is you want to believe your children are good. You want to trust that the baby you nursed, the toddler you taught to tie shoes, the teenager you stayed up worrying about, that person would never hurt you deliberately. So I went to my bedroom, took my debit card from my wallet, and handed it to my daughter. "Just for essentials," I said. "Just for essentials," she promised, and kissed my cheek. That was the last honest conversation we had. 3 days later, I checked my bank account online. My husband had taught me how before he died, one of his last gifts was making sure I knew how to watch our money. The balance was lower than it should have been, not drastically, but enough to notice. $200 missing. I called the bank and requested my recent transactions. The automated system listed them in that flat mechanical voice that makes bad news sound routine. April 18th, Nordstrom Rack, $147.33. April 19th, Olive Garden, $62.50. I hung up, sat at my kitchen table for a long time. Jennifer hadn't asked about Nordstrom, hadn't mentioned taking me to dinner. I tried to rationalize it. Maybe she'd bought me something, planned to surprise me. Maybe the Olive Garden charge was her treating herself after running my errands and she'd pay me back. You tell yourself stories to avoid the truth. It's easier than facing what the truth might cost. A week passed. I didn't say anything to Jennifer when she came by. She kissed my cheek, asked about my doctor's appointment, commented on how nice my rose bushes looked. Normal. Everything felt normal except for the weight in my chest every time she smiled. I checked my account again. $400 gone now. Sephora, Target, a gas station in a part of town I never drove to. Small charges scattered like she was testing how much I'd notice. The answer was everything. I noticed everything. "Jennifer, honey," I said carefully one afternoon while she was organizing my medication cabinet, "I should probably take my bank card back. I feel strange not having it." She didn't turn around. "Mom, you told me to keep it. I'm handling everything for you." "I know, but are you saying you don't trust me?" Now she turned, and her eyes were wet. "After everything I've done, driving over here twice a week, making sure you're okay, managing your bills, you think I'm doing something wrong?" "This is how it works. They make you the villain for questioning them." "No, sweetheart, I took time off work today to come here. Jake needs new shoes, and I'm here instead because I worry about you living alone in this big house." Her voice cracked perfectly. "If you want the card back, fine. I'll bring it next time. But it hurts, Mom. It really hurts that you'd think I'd take advantage." I apologized. Actually apologized for protecting my own money. She left that day without returning the card, saying she'd forgotten it at home. She never brought it up again. And like a fool, neither did I. May arrived. My account balance dropped by $800. June, $1,200. By July, I'd lost over $3,000 to charges I never made, purchases I never saw, dinners I never ate. I started keeping a notebook, wrote down every transaction, every date, every dollar. The pattern was clear. She was shopping for herself, buying gas for her car, eating at restaurants with, I assumed, her husband and son. My money was funding their lifestyle, while my savings, the money my husband and I had carefully built over 47 years of marriage, slowly drained away. And still, I said nothing, because saying something meant admitting my daughter was stealing from me. It meant accepting that the baby I'd carried was willing to bleed me dry. The breaking point came on a Friday in late July. I needed to buy groceries. Simple routine. I got to the checkout with my cart, just basics, bread and milk and coffee, and handed over my backup credit card, the one Jennifer didn't know about. "Declined," the cashier said, not even looking up. "That's impossible. Try again." She did. Same result. I left my groceries there and drove straight to the bank, my hands shaking on the steering wheel. The air conditioning in my car wasn't working right, and sweat ran down my back, or maybe that was panic. The bank manager, a young woman named Stephanie, pulled up my accounts on her computer. Her expression changed as she scrolled, professional neutrality turning to concern. "Mrs. Morgan, when was the last time you reviewed your credit card statements?" "I don't use that card much. Why?" She turned the monitor toward me. "There are significant charges here, over $7,000 in the past 3 months. The room tilted. "What?" "Amazon purchases mostly. Electronics, furniture, a laptop, clothing orders." Stephanie's voice was gentle, like she was explaining death to a child. "Your card is maxed out, that's why it declined." I couldn't breathe properly. $7,000 on a card I'd kept in my desk drawer for emergencies. "I didn't make those purchases," I whispered. "Do you live with anyone? Has anyone else had access to your cards?" Jennifer had been in my house twice a week for 4 months. She knew where I kept everything. She'd offered to organize my desk last month. "My daughter," I said, and the words felt like poison. "My daughter has my debit card. She found the credit card too." Stephanie's expression shifted to something worse than concern. Pity. "Mrs. Morgan, I need to ask you some difficult questions. Has your daughter pressured you into giving her financial access? Do you feel safe?" "I'm not in danger," I said, though I wasn't sure that was true anymore. "She told me she was helping with my bills." "Has she been paying your bills?" "I didn't know. I'd assumed. I'd trusted." Stephanie made some calls while I sat there, numb. She pulled up my utility accounts, my insurance, everything. The bills were being paid, barely. Minimum payments, late fees stacking up. Jennifer had been paying just enough to keep services connected while spending the rest on herself. "I need to file a report," Stephanie said finally. "This is fraud, Mrs. Morgan. Family member or not, this is theft. She's my daughter." "I understand, but she's stolen over $10,000 from you in 4 months. If she has access to other accounts, your pension, your savings, you could lose everything." That's when the fear really hit. My pension, my Social Security, the savings account with $83,000, what was left of my husband's life insurance and our retirement fund, everything we'd worked for. Jennifer had my debit card. She had my personal information. She'd been in my house, unsupervised, for months. What else did she have access to? "Tell me exactly what I need to do," I said to Stephanie, and my voice didn't sound like mine anymore. It sounded like someone harder, someone who'd finally woken up. We spent 2 hours in that bank. Stephanie helped me file fraud reports on both cards. We flagged my accounts with alerts. Any attempt to add Jennifer as a joint owner, any attempt to make large withdrawals, anything unusual would trigger an immediate call to me and a freeze on the transaction. "We're going to set up a password system," Stephanie explained. "Any changes to your accounts will require this password. Don't write it down anywhere your daughter can find it. Don't tell her what it is. Don't tell anyone." I chose my husband's middle name and our wedding date, James 1976, something Jennifer would never guess. "Now, here's the difficult part," Stephanie said, her hands folded on her desk. "We can't arrest her yet. The fraud report has been filed, but the police will need evidence, time to build a case. In the meantime, you need to act normal." Normal. Don't confront her. Don't let her know you've discovered the theft. If she realizes you're aware, she might try to drain your other accounts before we can protect them all. She might pressure you to drop the charges. She might, Stephanie hesitated, she might become aggressive. The word aggressive coming from this kind young woman made my stomach turn. We were talking about my Jennifer, the girl who'd cried when she stepped on a beetle as a child, who'd brought me flowers every Mother's Day. But people change. Or maybe I'd never really known her at all. "How long do I have to pretend?" I asked. "Until she makes a big enough move that the police can act. Usually, thieves get bolder. They escalate." Stephanie's eyes were sympathetic. "I know this is painful, Mrs. Morgan, but right now, patience is your best weapon." I drove home with new bank cards in my purse, cards Jennifer didn't know existed. I put them in a safety deposit box I opened that same day at a different bank across town. I changed my PIN codes. I set up text alerts for every single transaction over $20. And then I went home and waited. Jennifer came by the next Tuesday, right on schedule. She had coffee from Starbucks and a smile. "How are you feeling, Mom? You look tired." "Just didn't sleep well," I said, taking the coffee she offered. It was the expensive kind, probably bought with my money. I drank it anyway. "I was thinking we should go through your closet soon, donate some of Dad's old clothes. It's been 2 years, Mom. It might help with the healing." She wanted access to my bedroom again, to see what else she could take. "That's thoughtful, honey. Maybe next week." "Sure, whenever you're ready." She kissed my forehead. "I'll always be here for you." Lies sound like love when you want to believe them. After she left, I threw the coffee cup away and checked my bank account. 3 new charges. Grocery store, gas station, Target, $247 gone. I documented everything in my notebook. Date, time, amount, location. I was building my case, one theft at a time. If you're watching this and thinking you could never let this happen to you, pause right here and hit that subscribe button, because trust me, you never think it'll be your child until it is. August burned hot that year. My air conditioning struggled, and I spent days sitting in my living room with the curtains drawn, watching my bank account like it was a ticking bomb. Jennifer kept coming by, kept smiling, kept spending. The charges got bigger. A $600 payment to her car dealership, $400 at Best Buy, $200 at a nail salon. She wasn't even trying to hide it anymore, wasn't pretending the charges were for me. She'd grown confident in my silence, mistaking my patience for oblivion. I got a call from Stephanie in mid-August. "Mrs. Morgan, we've been tracking the activity on your old debit card. Your daughter's spending has increased significantly. The detective assigned to your case wants to wait a bit longer before making an arrest. He wants to catch her attempting something bigger, something that will guarantee prosecution." "How much bigger?" I asked, staring at my kitchen wall where Jennifer's third-grade art project still hung in a frame. "If she tries to access your pension or savings accounts, that's a felony charge. Right now, we're looking at multiple misdemeanors. Credit card fraud, identity theft, serious, but she might get probation, community service. If she goes after your retirement accounts, that's a different story. So you want me to wait for her to try to destroy me completely?" Stephanie's silence told me everything. "Mrs. Morgan, I know this is hard. But we need an airtight case. Your daughter could claim you gave her permission, that you're confused, that she was helping. We need evidence so clear that no judge will believe her excuses. I hung up and sat in my quiet house. 47 years I'd lived here, raised Jennifer in this house. Her bedroom was still upstairs, converted into a guest room but essentially unchanged. Her high school soccer trophies on the shelf, her prom photo on the wall. I'd loved her so much it hurt, the kind of love that makes you stupid, makes you vulnerable. And she'd weaponized it. My phone rang. Jennifer. Hey Mom, I'm coming by tomorrow. I need to talk to you about something important. My chest tightened. What about? Just some financial stuff. Nothing to worry about, but we should discuss it in person. Her voice was light, casual. See you around 10? She hung up before I could respond. I called Stephanie immediately. She's coming tomorrow. She said she wants to discuss financial stuff. Don't give her access to anything. Don't sign anything. If she asks for your pension information, tell her you'll think about it. Be vague. Can you record the conversation? Is that legal? In California, you need consent from both parties for a recording to be admissible in court, but you can take notes. Write down everything she says, exactly as she says it. If she asks you to sign something, take a photo of it before she leaves. That night, I barely slept. I kept thinking about Jennifer as a little girl, how she'd crawl into bed with me during thunderstorms, how safe she'd felt in my arms, how unsafe I felt now, in my own home. Jennifer arrived at 10:15 the next morning with a folder and that same bright smile. Coffee, I offered, my hand steady even though my heart wasn't. No thanks, Mom. Let's just sit. She patted the couch beside her. This won't take long. I sat, my notebook hidden in my cardigan pocket. So, I've been thinking about your future, she began, opening the folder. You're getting older and managing money gets harder. I think it's time we made some changes to your accounts. What kind of changes? Well, I spoke to a financial advisor. She hadn't. I could see the lie in how quickly she said it. And he recommended adding me as a joint owner on your pension and savings accounts. That way, if something happens to you, if you have a stroke or Alzheimer's starts, I can handle everything. No court, no lawyers, no mess. My mouth went dry. Jennifer, I know it sounds scary, but it's for your protection. Dad would want someone looking after you. She pulled papers from the folder. I already filled out most of the forms. You just need to sign here, here, and here, so. I looked at the documents. Authorization forms to add her name to my pension account, to my savings, to every dollar I had left. This is sudden, I said carefully. Mom, you gave me your bank card 4 months ago because you trusted me to help. This is just the next step. It doesn't change anything. The money is still yours. I just want to make sure you're taken care of. I need time to think about it. Her expression shifted. The warmth drained out like water from a cracked glass. Time to think? Mom, I've been taking care of you for months. I put my own life on hold to make sure you're okay. And now you need time to think about whether you trust me? It's not about trust. Then what is it about? Are you saying I'd steal from you? Is that what you think of me? Her voice rose, cracked with manufactured hurt. After everything I've done? Everything she'd done. $10,000 stolen, $7,000 on my credit card, $3,000 from my checking account. Bills paid late, credit damaged, my financial security dismantled piece by piece. I just want to read the documents carefully, I said, forcing my voice to stay calm. A day or two. Jennifer stood abruptly. Fine, think about it. But Mom, you're not getting any younger. What if something happens and I can't access your accounts to pay for your care? What if you fall or forget to pay a bill and everything falls apart? I'm trying to prevent that. She was good. Almost convincing. If I hadn't known better, I'd believe her concern was real. I'll let you know soon, I said. She left the papers on my coffee table. Call me when you're ready to sign. And Mom, I love you. I'm only trying to help. The door closed behind her. I sat for a long moment before pulling out my phone and photographing every page of those documents. Then I called Stephanie. She wants access to everything, I said. My pension, my savings. She brought papers. Don't sign anything, Stephanie said immediately. I'm contacting the detective right now. This is exactly what we've been waiting for. She's attempting to gain legal access to your major accounts while actively defrauding your other accounts. That's clear intent. What do I do when she asks again? She'll push. Stall. Say you need to talk to your own lawyer. Say you're not feeling well. Say anything except yes. We need a few more days to coordinate with the police. Can you manage that? I've managed 4 months, I said, and my voice was hollow. I can manage a few more days. But Jennifer didn't wait a few days. She called that night. Then again the next morning. Then she showed up at my door Tuesday afternoon, unannounced. Did you read the papers? She asked, pushing past me into the house. Jennifer, I told you I needed time. It's been 4 days, Mom. How much time do you need to trust your own daughter? She was different now. The sweet pretense had cracked, and underneath was something desperate, something mean. I want to talk to a lawyer first. A lawyer? Are you kidding me? She laughed, sharp and bitter. You know what lawyers cost? You'd waste thousands on legal fees to do something I'm offering to do for free. That's not smart, Mom. That's paranoid. It's my money, Jennifer. I have the right to be careful. Your money. Right. She stepped closer, and I felt small suddenly, aware of how my daughter towered over me now, how I'd shrunk with age while she'd grown into someone I didn't recognize. Let me tell you about your money, Mom. Dad's insurance paid for this house. His pension kept you comfortable, but you didn't earn any of that. He did, and now you're sitting on it like some kind of... She stopped, caught herself, but I'd heard enough. Like some kind of what? I asked quietly. Nothing. Forget it. She rubbed her face. I'm stressed, okay? Jake's college applications are due, the housing market is terrible, and I'm trying to juggle everything, including worrying about you. Nobody asked you to worry about me. You're my mother. Of course I worry. The softness returned to her voice, but it felt calculated now, rehearsed. Look, just sign the papers. Let me help you. That's all I want. I need more time. You don't have time, the mask slipped again. You're 72 years old, Mom. You could die tomorrow. Do you want everything stuck in probate? Do you want lawyers taking half of what Dad worked for? I'm not signing today, Jennifer. She stared at me. I watched something shift in her eyes, the moment she stopped seeing me as her mother and started seeing me as an obstacle. Fine, she said finally, but don't come crying to me when you can't figure out your bills or your medications or any of it. If you don't trust me to help, figure it out yourself. She left, slammed the door hard enough to rattle the pictures on my walls. I called Stephanie with shaking hands. How much longer? 2 days. The detective is finalizing everything. Can you hold on for 2 more days? I held on. Jennifer called 6 times over those 2 days. I didn't answer. She sent texts. Mom, please talk to me. I'm worried about you. Are you okay? Each message a little more frantic, a little more desperate. She knew I was slipping from her control. On Thursday morning, September 7th, my phone rang at 6 a.m. It was the bank's fraud alert system, automated voice telling me someone was attempting to access my pension account. I called the emergency number Stephanie had given me. Mrs. Morgan, your daughter is at a bank branch in Newport Beach right now. She's trying to set up an electronic transfer from your pension to a new account, one in both your names that she opened remotely using your personal information. How much is she trying to transfer? All of it, $63,000. My entire pension, everything my husband had earned over 30 years at the electric company, everything that kept me fed, kept my lights on, kept me alive. The transaction is frozen, Stephanie said. She can't access anything. We flagged the account based on your fraud report. But Mrs. Morgan, she's insisting she has your permission. She's threatening to call you right now to sort this out. When she calls, you need to... My phone beeped. Jennifer calling. She's calling me now, I said. Don't answer. Let it go to voicemail. The police are on their way to that bank branch right now. I didn't answer. I sat in my kitchen, holding the phone, watching it ring and ring, then stop, then ring again immediately. She left a voicemail. I played it on speaker so Stephanie could hear. Mom, there's been a huge mistake at the bank. They're saying I don't have permission to help you with your pension. I need you to call them right now and tell them you authorized me. It's urgent, Mom. Please call me back. Her voice was strained, panicked. She knew she was trapped. My phone lit up again. Text message. Mom, call me now. The bank is threatening to call the police. You need to fix this. Then another. I'm doing this for you, for your protection. Why don't you understand that? Then, answer your phone. Answer your phone. I turned it off. Stephanie called my landline 20 minutes later. Mrs. Morgan, your daughter has been detained. The police are bringing her in for questioning. They have all the evidence, the transaction history, the fraud reports, her attempt to illegally transfer your pension. She's being arrested for elder financial abuse, identity theft, and fraud. I should have felt something. Relief, vindication, justice. Instead, I felt empty. What happens now? I asked. There'll be an arraignment. You'll need to testify eventually. But Mrs. Morgan, you're safe now. Your accounts are secure. She can't touch your money anymore. Safe. Such a strange word. I was safe from my own daughter. I hung up and walked through my house. Jennifer's childhood photos lined the hallway, her baby shoes in a shadow box on the shelf, the Mother's Day cards she'd made me in elementary school, covered in crayon hearts and misspelled I love yous. I left them all where they were. Some things are too heavy to pack away. The arrest made the local news. Local real estate agent arrested for elder financial abuse. They didn't use my name, but they didn't need to. Everyone in my neighborhood knew. The whispers started immediately. Jennifer's lawyer called me 3 days after her arrest, a man with a smooth voice and expensive words. Mrs. Morgan, my client is willing to enter a repayment plan. Full restitution of all funds plus interest. In exchange, we'd ask you to consider dropping the criminal charges. This could be resolved as a family matter, privately, without destroying your daughter's life. Her life, I said. What about mine? I understand you're upset, but Jennifer has a son to support, a career, a future. A felony conviction would ruin all of that. Surely you don't want to see your grandson suffer for his mother's mistakes. There it was, the guilt card. Using Jake, my sweet grandson who'd done nothing wrong, as leverage. What Jennifer did wasn't a mistake, I said. Mistakes are accidental. She stole from me deliberately, systematically, for months. She tried to take my pension, everything I have to survive on. She was trying to help manage your finances. By spending $10,000 at Nordstrom, on furniture, on her car payment, that's not management, counselor, that's theft. He sighed. Mrs. Morgan, if this goes to trial, you'll have to testify. You'll have to face your daughter in court and tell a room full of strangers that she's a criminal. Is that really what you want? What I wanted was a daughter who didn't steal from me. I hung up. Jennifer sent a letter from jail. My hands shook when I opened it. Mom, I'm so sorry. I never meant for things to go this far. I was in a bad place financially, and I made terrible choices. I know I betrayed your trust. I know I hurt you, but I'm still your daughter. Please, for Jake's sake, for our family, don't let them send me to prison. I'll pay everything back. I'll get help. Just please don't testify against me. I love you. Jennifer. I read it 3 times, looking for something real in the words, some actual remorse beyond fear of consequences. I didn't find it. The preliminary hearing was in October. I wore my navy dress, the one my husband always said made me look strong, and sat in the courtroom while they read the charges. Felony financial elder abuse, identity theft, credit card fraud, attempted embezzlement of retirement funds. Sit tight. Jennifer stood beside her lawyer in an orange jumpsuit. She looked smaller somehow, older. Her eyes found mine across the room and she mouthed, I'm sorry. Too late. Months too late. The judge set a trial date for December. Jennifer's lawyer tried again for a plea deal. I refused. Your Honor, I said when the judge asked if I had anything to add, my daughter didn't just steal my money. She stole my peace of mind. She made me afraid in my own home. She made me question whether I was losing my mind when I noticed the missing money. She used my love as a weapon against me. I want her held accountable." The judge nodded. "Trial will proceed." The trial lasted 3 days. Sarhanitz. Jennifer's lawyer tried everything. He suggested I was confused, that I'd given her permission and forgotten. He implied my age made me an unreliable witness. He painted Jennifer as a devoted daughter, trying to help an elderly mother who'd become paranoid and vindictive. Then the prosecutor presented my notebook. 4 months of documented theft, every transaction recorded with dates and amounts. Bank records showing charges that couldn't possibly be for my benefit. Security footage from Nordstrom showing Jennifer trying on clothes. Her signature on the forms attempting to transfer my pension without my authorization. The evidence was crushing. Jennifer took the stand. She cried. She apologized. She said she'd been desperate, drowning in debt, not thinking clearly. She said she'd always planned to pay me back. "Did you ask your mother if you could spend her money on your car payment?" the prosecutor asked. "No, but did you ask her permission before charging $7,000 on her credit card?" I thought, "Did you ask before attempting to transfer her entire pension into an account you controlled?" I was trying to help her. By stealing $63,000? Jennifer had no answer for that. The jury deliberated for 4 hours. When they returned, the forewoman stood. "On the count of felony financial elder abuse, we find the defendant guilty." Jennifer's face crumpled. Her lawyer put a hand on her shoulder, but she shook it off, turning to look at me one last time. I looked back, didn't flinch, didn't cry. Sentencing came 2 weeks later. The judge gave her 3 years, suspended to 18 months with 5 years probation, full restitution of $13,472 plus interest, mandatory counseling, and a restraining order. She couldn't contact me for 5 years. "Mrs. Morgan," the judge said, looking at me over his glasses, "do you wish to make a statement?" I stood. My legs felt steady. Jennifer is my daughter, and a part of me will always love the child she was, but she's not that child anymore. She made choices that hurt me deeply, that endangered my survival, that betrayed everything I thought we were to each other. I hope she gets help. I hope she becomes the person she should have been, but I'm glad she can't hurt me anymore. I sat down. Jennifer was led out. She didn't look back. I walked out of that courthouse into December sunshine. Stephanie was waiting on the steps. "You did it," she said. "How do you feel?" I thought about that. "Lighter," I said finally. "Sad, but lighter. My accounts are secure now. My money is mine again. I've changed my locks, my passwords, everything. I see Jake sometimes. His father brings him by, and we've agreed Jennifer's actions aren't his burden to carry. He's a good kid. He deserves better than what his mother showed him. As for Jennifer, I hear she got a job as a waitress. I hope she learned something from it. Me? I'm still here in my house in Riverside, still tending my roses, still drinking my coffee, but I'm not naive anymore, not trusting without reason. Some lessons cost everything to learn, but at least I'm still standing, and my money is still mine.